Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Welcome to the Six Bugle Podcast. I'm your host, Rudy Ruiz. I'm here with my co-host, Christy Hensler. Christy, Happy New
Hi,
Year.
thank you. You too. I'm
New
excited
Year's.
to have a fresh start. That's kind of what's
Yeah,
in my head right
yeah.
now.
New Year's Eve is tomorrow.
Yeah, I
We want to
know.
make sure that people enjoy this time, also to be safe, and I want to
Yes.
make sure that you're safe out there. And but we do want to give you a new message, something new for 2025. So what do you want to talk about today, Christy?
Yeah, a lot of times we talked about in the last podcast about reflecting and gratitude and kind of vision casting for 2025 and
Sure.
the new year. And I think something that people like to do for the new year is pick a word for the year. I like that concept if you actually follow through with it. I feel
Right.
like New Year's resolutions are so just kind of there's nothing attached to it. They just, two
Yeah.
weeks and then they disappear. But I
Right.
feel like a word is something that it's simple, so you're not getting lost in all this thing, and it kind of gives you that compass to filter your decisions and your opportunities or your
Sure.
obligations or commitments through for the year.
Right.
And so, and I think, if we can, it, it just helps you simplify it. Maybe you're somebody that loves to create goals. I used to create a lot of goals. Some of you have heard me say that before. I don't do as many now because it was just overwhelming. But
Sure.
a word is something you can take and apply to every of your life. Maybe your
Mhm.
word is, change or optimism or creativity. And maybe you can
Right.
apply creativity to your marriage. How can I be more creative in my marriage to
Yeah.
make it better? How can I be more creative in my work, and those types of
Mhm.
things. So I was just at that Connector Summit, as you know from the last podcast if you
Mhm.
listen, and he's creating you. Some of you that have seen me in person know that I use a lot of decks of cards with pictures and quotes and
Right.
questions, and so the next deck of cards that's coming out, which I should have for the next Six Bugle conference in September, is talking your way into the future. And
Okay.
so what they did with these cards is they created a word on one side and a question on the other. So I'm going to share my screen and I'll
Okay.
put this link, I'll give this link to Rudy so you can put it in the comments of this YouTube that you're watching so you can actually go through it yourself.
Okay.
So I would encourage you to start here because this is a great starting place. If you don't find a word here, then go on your own. But there's some great words in this deck that aren't your normal. Not that health is bad or family is bad, but these are a little more specific. So I would encourage you to create, a word that resonates with you. So a few on here, I know when we already saw these, we both like change. And
Yeah.
then on the back of the word is a question. What aspects of your daily life would you like to change? This is a great growth question that you could actually take and be intentional and implement into your life.
Mhm.
And so I would encourage you to flip through this deck. It's very easy to use online, like I'm just showing you. That the actual printed deck is not available yet. This is like a prototype, and hopefully I'm allowed to share it, but we'll find out. And so clarity, but you can see kind of the pictures play on the words. And
Mhm.
then, just the question on the back will help you get started. You could also throw your word into Chat GPT or Claude or another AI source and go, hey, my word of the year is change. Give me 5 powerful questions to ask myself. And it will,
Yeah.
I'm sure, pump you out some great questions.
Sure.
So I would encourage you to go through this. I haven't even went through this whole deck myself. Some of these are new for me. And find a word that resonates with you that you can really take and apply to your life this year. Do you do this every year, Rudy?
I typically pick a word and I don't
Okay.
go as deep as what these cards would
Okay.
provide you with, but I do kind of keep that. I put it on my whiteboard, and this year was healthy,
Okay.
and
Yes.
which could mean anything from make sure you exercise and make sure you eat right, make sure you get enough sleep.
Yes.
I call it take your meds. The M stands for meditation, the E stands
Okay.
for exercise, the D stands for diet, and the S stands for sleep.
Oh, I
So
like that.
yeah, so that's kind of it's an all-encompassing thing. But what you're
Hmm.
talking about here kind of helps you narrow it down,
Yes.
and when you start to combine the words, that even makes it even more specific for what you're trying to
Yes.
accomplish, right?
Yes. And I think so. I think I'm looking at some of my notes over here. Flip the card for a deeper question and then just and then put physical reminders places like you're saying. Put it on your mirror, on your whiteboard, in your phone.
Yeah,
Maybe at the beginning or the end of the day, say, did this word, was I able to incorporate this word into my life? And how
yeah,
was I able to do it? Because you have the whole year to like really kind of lean in, if you will, to this
right,
word,
right.
and I would encourage you. I know, like, we talk a lot about getting an accountability partner. Do this with somebody else. It's
Yes.
not like you're giving them 5-page spreadsheet and being like, answer all these questions. They're like, no, thanks. It's just like, hey, let's pick a word and then let's kind of, talk about that together, keep each other accountable, or at the
Sure.
very least connect over it.
Yeah.
It's not like you have to call them every day and be like, their mom, did you do your work? Did you do
Right.
your work?
Right.
But like connect with them every once in a while for coffee. How's it going?
Right.
Because I think we all need, as disciplined or self-motivated or excited as we are sometimes about something. I think accountability helps all of us because we all have days where we don't feel like doing it, or we don't feel like.
Right.
And the other thing is, maybe you are leaning into your word throughout the months to come more than you realize, but when you're in it, you can't always see it clearly. So somebody
Right.
else can look on the outside and go, yeah, I really do think you've leaned into creativity this year in this
Right.
way, in this way, in this way. And they can point
Right.
out those things to you that you may not see yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So it not just adds that accountability component, but
Yes.
also it provides you with that human relationship concept and
Yes.
encourages you to continue to build on that. And I think a lot of people kind of miss that, especially now with social media. They think that that's
Mhm.
provides you with the human connection, but it doesn't really. We have to
No.
be face to face with each other and get that chemical energy to be
Yes.
relatable with other people. And that ultimately, studies have shown that it helps people live longer by
Hmm.
making sure you have that human connection. So that's always valuable. So
Yes.
it does two things. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, so I think I wouldn't make it any I'm just looking at some maybe challenges. Like maybe you're looking and you have more than one word. Maybe you can put two words together and it's a small phrase. I
Right.
think that would be fine too. This isn't like a rule thing, like only pick one,
Sure.
but it's just like it's do something. It's be intentional about, like we said on the last podcast with the vision casting, how do I want to feel this year? How do I want to show up as my best self? And what word kind of goes along with that to allow
Mhm.
me to do that? What is that? Because we can't be everything. Like, I mean, as much as, I want to try to be, more kind and more caring and more giving and more healthy and more disciplined, like I try to focus on all that and I'm not, I'm
Right.
frustrated. But if you
Yeah.
just focus on one thing, then you can really implement that into your
Right.
life.
Yeah. It makes it more complex. This way, if you're focusing on one thing, you have clarity and
Yes.
you get yourself out of the fog and you know what your focus is. And
Yes.
also it provides you with a specific direction. So you're not going all over the place. You're coming back to where you want
Yes.
to be. Yeah.
And it gives you that boundary like that. That's one other thing I wanted to bring up because you brought this up on is you can use this to say no, and I
Yes.
think, if you're being presented with something this year, because like we talked about before, a lot of times it's not bad things that people want us to do or commitments or obligations or opportunities even, but you can't do everything. And so you can use that. And if somebody asks you to get involved in something that's not leading you closer to your vision or your word or how you want to show up, then you just need to say, you know what, this year I've made a commitment to myself that I'm going to grow in this area.
Right. Right.
And this just isn't aligning with that. So I'm going to have to say no to that. And
Right.
90% of people will respect that. And so
Mhm.
that's, that word and that vision and that clarity, like Rudy was saying, then gives you the power to say no, to make better decisions, to set better goals, all of those things.
And feel good about it and not feel
Yes.
guilty about not being there to provide help or focus on someone else's specific needs. And you'll
Right.
find out who your true friends are, right? And the ones that
Yes, for
respect you for
sure.
that and the ones that don't, well, you probably don't need them in your life anyway. So
Yes, that will help you like clean house if somebody gives you a hard time about, because I think most people want that in their life, but they
yeah,
don't either know how to get it. They're not courageous enough to like to
sure.
stop people pleasing to get it. And so some people, if you actually tell them that your courage is going to allow them to then be courageous and do the same thing for themselves. And they're
Absolutely.
going to be like, I want that. And then,
Yes.
you could even have a accountability partner in that potentially. So I would encourage you all, you have enough tools within your tool belt, being at these Six Bugle conferences, listening to these podcasts, reading the books, to like step up and be courageous and be
Mhm.
intentional going into 2025 and then see how that influences the other people in your life.
Absolutely. Yes, definitely. Like Chrissy said, we do have our scheduled set for
Yay.
Six Bugle 2025. It's going to be on September 17th to the 19th. So make sure you block out that time And we'll be happy to see you all again. To looking forward to making new friends and visiting old friends and catching up and of course listening to the wonderful message that Christy has in store for us because she's going to be our
Chrissy's
keynote
still
speaker
gonna
again.
figure out. Yes. Okay.
Well, I'm sure
It'll be
it's
good. I'll get it's there. I just have to think about it.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, I'm sure it's
So,
going to be solid gold. You always bring it,
so,
and everybody's always excited to have you and listen to you, and quite a few people demanded that you come back. So
so I guess
we
that's a
are,
good thing.
yeah, we
No,
are
I'm
looking.
excited. I enjoy that conference every year. I really do.
Yes, yes, we are looking forward to
So
that. So that's going to be a great time. So thank you very much for this message today, and we all look forward to seeing you again very, very soon. And again, be safe out there.
yes.
As a first responder, we've seen a lot of terrible
Mm-hmm.
accidents. And even if you don't drink and you want to be out there, just be careful because there's a lot of amateurs out there. And we want to, I can't stress that enough. I've actually seen
Yes.
a lot of horrible, horrible accidents, and there's a lot of stories that both Martha and I could tell you that we've seen some very tragic events, and
Mm-hmm.
even that included children, and having a child say, "Where's my mom?" and knowing
Yeah.
that she's not there anymore is the most horrible thing
Mm-hmm.
that you could hear from a young child. And so I just want you all to just be very, very careful out there. And we're all thinking about you. We're all praying for you, and enjoy the holiday, but also be safe. And we all hope to see you again next time on the Six
Yes.
Bugle Podcast, and we'll see you at the next conference in
Happy New
September.
Year.
Take care. Happy New Year.